can make a huge impact on our results. Maybe that's not so profound, but I don't think we think about the subtleties of life. And it doesn't apply just to life, it applies to our businesses and our relationships. And I think about it in a listing, or with a buyer. In a listing, people have houses and they're listed with an agent, and everything seems just right. You look at the photos, it looks great, and the price, run the numbers, and the price seems spot on, and people are showing the house, and you're in open house traffic, and no offers. And for agents, the default is, well, it's the price. It's the price. Well, and for the seller, it might be, it's the agent. Both might have some truth to it. But that's when we look for the subtleties, the subtle shift that can change the outcome and bring better results. I mean, there are many times we've listed houses that have expired with another company and relisted them, and sometimes at higher prices, which seems on the surface to be not logical. But if the numbers, the house, the setting, the site all seem to make sense, well, it's in the details. So what are those details? In today's marketplace, I would say the vast majority of our agent population, and we're guilty of this as well, so I'm not just pointing fingers, because when you point one, four pointing back at you, I don't know if you've ever heard that. Look at that. Boom. So the devil's in the details, meaning we had a listing one time that had been on forever, expired, fourth agent. And I looked at it and I said, why is this house not selling? This makes no sense. And the feedback from the seller was they didn't like the house. People would walk in and say, we don't like the houses in the backyard. And I went out in the backyard and I said, gosh, those houses are a long way away. There's this huge expanse of open space, NOA, natural open space area. And I said, gosh, that didn't make sense. So I looked at the pictures from the previous listings, and there were no pictures showing the backyard looking out. But the description said, long views, sunsets, privacy. And so the perception was privacy. What's the thought process in privacy? No one in my backyard, and long views, nothing but mountains and desert and saguaro cactus and javelinas trampling over the prickly pear. So when we looked at it, we said, gosh, the price is phenomenal. I mean, it was one of those houses. So when we shot our photos and our video, we had them fly the drone right over the house, which showed all of these, the next street over, which was, a football field away at least. It showed them in the video. And we took pictures shooting out, not just in. In a matter of 2 weeks, we were in multiple offers at the same list price as we had been on 4 times before. And the conclusion was that the expectation had been set correctly up front. I'd like to say it was our magic. It was the orange vortex. It was our insight and wisdom. Maybe a little bit more. It was, let's set the correct expectation. So we still talk about privacy, views, sunsets. But the visual, where do people start looking? Online, 95% online. Clicking through pictures, the clickers. So if they go, oh, there's houses off in the distance. They come look at the house. They don't go, oh, I didn't know there were houses off in the distance. They go, oh yeah, they're way far away like I thought they were. So it's setting the expectations. And the other thing is target marketing. There's old school, I guess, and that's not even that old, is go wide and shallow. So zip code marketing and county marketing and city marketing, statewide marketing. And in today's marketplace, it just becomes noise to a potential buyer for a listing. And because there's so much of that noise, there's so much of that broadcast marketing. But if you dig deep, dial in, we call it micro marketing. So we look at the demographic, we look at the most likely buyer, we look at where people have bought from before in that community, we look at what their, what their interests are, what community has to offer. And now we can target buyers and agents who might know buyers, because we like to include other agents. We think of ourselves as the orchestrators of the symphony, which is your home, and in the audience are all the buyers and buyers agents, because we need them as much as they need us to have listings. And so now we've dialed that in, so that we're hitting people that are more likely buyer. We can concentrate our marketing so it's more effective, and in the end, that will help to bring a better quality offer. Prime example I use is the Boulders in Scottsdale Carefree, where it's represented, the ownership's represented by over 40 states and 12 provinces and countries. That's a very diverse group. But when you look at that and then you break down where those folks are from, you find concentrations. And so now our marketing is tailored to those in those areas. Same thing with buyers. You think about buyers can find houses all day long. So what's the shift? I have agents who show clients, I hear 40, 50, 60, 100 houses. Well, when we get to that point, we're not doing our job. Or the buyer isn't conveying their expectations, or their expectations aren't realistic. And continuing to do the same thing over and over again is, Albert Einstein's definition of insanity, of course. So what's the shift? The shift is to ask more questions about end goals and dreams, and what moving will do for them. How's it going to impact their life? How's it going to make it better? How's it going to solve a problem? And when we dig through that, it's interesting. We'll have people say, "Gotta have a pool. Gotta have a pool. Gotta have a pool." And so they're skipping houses that don't have pools, and yet it might have a fantastic community pool set up within their facilities. Might have room to create their own pool. Might be a house that has enough upside value that you could put in your own pool and be money ahead. And if we now open up that search and show them a few houses that meet all their other criteria, but don't have that one element. So as we tell people, 8 out of 10 things is like a home run. And we'll find that can clear the objection and bring them to a close. Sellers not being able to visualize where they're going. It's getting them out and looking at houses so they know there's a place to move. Fear of not having a home can stand in the way of sales. So as the Orange Minute is now at 10 and a half minutes, I'll wrap that up and say no matter what it is, business or life, think about the nuances that are holding back success. In our lives, it's usually fear-based. And I know all about fear. I'm very good at being fearful. But for the most part, the fear we have, if we face it or run towards it, never kills us. It ultimately, once we get through the darkness, into the light, we're far better because of it. With all that said, on this beautiful sunny day here in Scottsdale, Arizona, I heard in some parts of the upper Midwest, winter is coming, Arizona's calling. So if you're thinking about you need a winter escape, give us a call at J. Jasper Associates, where we are uniquely qualified to guide you to your next home. 602-301-4862. And remember, orange is truth, because without truth, there is no trust. Have a great day and a happy Thanksgiving. See you next time on the Orange Minute.